I know you know where they are, so tell me, before I do some damage you won't walk away from.
Do it right. Sometimes you do it wrong and you prove them right, but through whose eyes you was wrong when you lose a life. Sometimes you lose it all, it's like you threw the dice and realize that you was off. Listen, do it right. Sometimes you do it wrong and you prove them right, but through whose eyes you was wrong when you lose a life. Sometimes you lose it all, it's like you threw the dice and realize that you was off. Longevity in life, people. That's the goal, stay the course. You are now tuned in to the Evolved Energy Podcast. This is where we push positivity through strength and evolution. I am your host, Twyce. Hope everyone's in good spirits, riding on those high vibrations, and feeling positive about themselves today. And today, we're going to talk about something that changed my life tremendously over the past 10 years, and that's being vegan. And this episode isn't about judging anybody. It's not about forcing anybody to eat like me either. This is simply me speaking from experience. I'm 51 years old. I train consistently. I move well. My digestion is on point. My energy stays stable. And honestly, I feel younger than I did years ago. I'm in the best shape of my life. So in today's episode, we're going to discuss veganism, longevity, the misconceptions of veganism, energy, health, discipline, and how eating clean can completely change the way you feel physically and mentally. Let's get into it. All right, now, first things first. Becoming vegan is a process. It's not some magical transformation that happens overnight. But fortunately for me, I'm a cold turkey type of guy, so I can stop things right on a dime. Just, it's over. And that's what happened in my case. I told this story before, but this is for my new listeners, and you'll probably hear this story again. This is just my experience. So I lived in Hollywood, Florida for about 7 years, and I was doing personal training at LA Fitness in North Miami. So one of my clients, actually, it wasn't a client, it was someone coming in for an evaluation, trying to get into the gym. So I call her my client, but it's just a client for the day. I had clients out of the gym on top of that, but I'm specifically talking about this potential client at LA Fitness. So she comes in and sits down. We have a conversation. I have to ask you about your eating habits and what you've been doing for the past year, 2 years, what's your work schedule, how you're sleeping, all types of things so I can know where you're at fitness-wise and health-wise. So then we can know where to go. So she was cool girl, probably in her 30s. And we were talking during the workout. It's just a 25-minute workout just to see where you're at. So we're talking, and she says, you know what? The way you are, I think you would be interested in this video I saw. And I said, what was the video? She said it's called What the Health. Not what the HE double hockey sticks. No. What the Health. And it's on Netflix. So she said, I'm not going to tell you about it. It's just about health and the food we're eating. So I said, okay, I'm going to go check it out. So I went and checked it out. And it showed me a bunch of things, facts on what meat and dairy was doing to our bodies and why we didn't need it to survive. And they had all types of doctors with the proof on there, and they were sitting down, and this video was about an hour and a half. And the slaughter of animals is one thing, but it basically touched on what that meat and the dairy products is doing to our body, and actually what it's made of and what we're consuming on a daily basis. So I watched that. I sat down, watched that video for an hour and a half, and immediately we threw everything away. All meats and all the dairy products. We actually gave it to our neighbor, and we started from scratch because the video was so eye-opening that I couldn't turn a blind eye to it. And I wasn't out, eating unhealthy like that. I was a turkey meat guy. I always tried to keep my protein up. Yeah, I'll eat some pizza, but I wasn't eating. No, I don't drink soda. Not eating cupcakes on a regular basis and all types of sugar. No, but I wasn't eating as healthy as I should have been eating. Now, with this vegan revelation, I'm just looking at it and just started from scratch. And there was a lot of research that had to be done because there's certain nutrients you need in your body there's a certain amount that you need, certain amount of protein, sugars, healthy fats, carbs, iron, potassium, things that we don't pay attention to. But now I started paying attention to how the food made me feel. And certain foods made me sluggish. I know that after I eat a big meal, I'm tired, I want to take a nap. Certain foods made me real, real heavy. And you just felt like you can't move, like you gained 20 pounds after a meal. And one thing I noticed after transitioning to a plant-based diet and a plant-based lifestyle rather, I stopped I stopped crashing after the meals. I stopped feeling tired. Now I feel light, like I'm always up on my toes, ready to go. That heavy, sleepy feeling, that disappeared. I don't deal with that anymore. So my digestion was always good, but it also improved because now I know, when I need to go to the bath. It's a scheduled thing. My body's like a machine. So at a certain time every day, I know I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So it's just everything improved. My energy, my recovery improved. I don't feel achy. There's no, my bones and joints. There's no, when I work out hard, I just recover and I just feel light and young. So it's just incredible. I just feel cleaner internally. How about that? Internally, I feel like I just rinsed all that nonsense out of me, and now I'm just running off clean gas. 93, and that's 530 right now because the prices are so damn high. But anyway, I digress. So once you start feeling better consistently, you don't really want to go backwards. I wasn't going backwards after we got it together. And it was 2016 when my wife and I turned vegan. So now there's no thought. And I was a pizza guy. Like I love pizza still, but you know what? Now I have vegan pizza. There's nothing wrong with that. There's different ways you can please yourself. So all the excuses later for that. I'm worried about being here for a long time and functioning at a high level. And being vegan, I know is going to help me. Now, think about the food. We're talking about the food right now. The food is either feeding life or fighting it. You know, you're either eating something that's good for you or you're eating something that's bad for you. There is no in between. And one thing I learned over the years, food, it affects everything. Your energy, your mood, your recovery, your sleep, your focus, your inflammation, your digestion. It's crazy. Once you're aware, you're really aware. People underestimate how much food impacts mental clarity as well. You're eating all types of heavy and unhealthy food, your mind's going to be kind of feeling heavy and not thinking clear. You can't compare it to something different because you haven't changed the way you're eating. The reason why I can speak about this is because I've been both places. My mind right now is so clear, and I know it has to do with my diet. I'm not saying the diet changes every thought in your head, no. But I feel so light. Like food, I feel like the food is feeding me. It's really fuel. It's feeding this machine. So things are totally different. And if you consistently feel sluggish, like bloated, tired, inflamed, you don't think that's going to affect your mindset? Of course it is. There's a correlation somewhere. And if you don't want to believe it, why don't you try it? Try to eat clean for a week or two and see how you function. You're gonna feel different. And for me personally, eating more plant-based whole foods, it makes me feel lighter, more energized, and more consistent mentally. I'm just very in tune with things right now. My body feels great, my mind feels sharp, and I know it has to do with the lifestyle. I didn't know I was making one of the most important decisions of my life watching that What the Health video. And I'm so grateful for that lady coming into that gym that day. So I want to talk about now the misconceptions about veganism. People hear the word vegan and automatically they start assuming things. First thing people ask me, right when they know I'm vegan, hey, where do you get your protein from? The most common question in the world when you're vegan. And just because people don't know different sources of protein, they think there are no different sources of protein. You got lentils, chickpeas, tofu, tempeh, beans, nuts, seeds, vegan protein powder. There's protein in a lot more foods than people realize. Another misconception. People think vegans they're weak. You know, they don't have strength. Listen, weakness comes from poor nutrition and poor discipline, not from eating plants. You see the gorillas, the big gorillas in the jungle, the rainforest. You see the rhinoceroses. Those are big, big animals, some of the strongest on the planet. They eat plants for their food. They don't eat meat. They're not carnivores. So you want to ask them where they get their protein from and how strong are they? Strongest animals on the planet, damn near. Another misconception. Vegans don't get enough nutrients in their diet. Absolutely wrong. I just left the doctor and clean bill of health. All my levels are good. No deficiencies. I'm actually in the best shape I've ever been in, she told me. So just because you don't know about something, don't knock it. Because I highly doubt growing up you were paying attention to how many nutrients or what nutrients you needed to survive on a daily basis. No, you just ate when you were hungry. So don't start trying to pinpoint just because someone's vegan. Well, what about your nutrients? We're okay. Matter of fact, it's better for me being vegan because I know exactly what nutrients and the amount I'm consuming each day because I have to pay attention to that. I have to eat, every 3 hours. So I like that because it makes me pay attention to my diet. Another misconception. I know there's a long list of misconceptions, but I have to address these things. You can't maintain a vegan diet long term. No, you can. Because like I said, the big animals, certain animals in the wilderness, they're vegan. They live forever. And when you get sick and you go to the doctor, 9 times out of 10, they say, hey, you're going to have to transform to a vegan diet. And that's to keep you alive. So obviously, long term, yeah, we're pushing this long term. I feel like the clock, it's going backwards for me. I'm feeling younger as I get older. That's an oxymoron. Love it, though. And one other thing that is hilarious to me, I laugh at it. People, vegans don't just eat salad. I go out sometime, I go to a friend's house or a family member's house. Oh, you're vegan? Okay, I got some salad. I weigh 188 to 90 pounds. I'm going to need something more than salad to sustain me. And we're going to be here 5 hours. And you think I'm just going to eat salad? That is hilarious to me. So stop offering salad to vegan people. We're laughing inside. And another thing, don't think just because someone's vegan that they're healthy, because there's a lot of unhealthy vegan options out there. You can eat a bunch of vegan fast food all day, and just because it's vegan, you're not healthy. It's still fattening. And anything that puts that layer of fat around your heart, yeah, we're looking at something detrimental health-wise. So because there's a lot of processed vegan food out there, and people think, oh, well, I'm vegan, I can eat whatever. No, no, no way. No way. I got Oreos. You know, the Oreo cookies, those are vegan naturally. I learned that a couple years ago, but those are vegan. So imagine someone's trying to get that sugar they need or that fix. They're going to go, oh, well, I'm vegan. I can eat all these Oreos. I'm all set. French fries, they're vegan as well. Potatoes. But no, you have to watch what you're eating. That's why the diet I'm on is mainly a whole food diet. You know, we got to make the beans, the lentils. A lot of tofu I consume in my diet. I love it. It can be baked, barbecue. You can prepare it all types of ways. Seitan, another good protein source, where they equate that to having chicken. That's our chicken, and if you make it right, you'll feel like you're eating some chicken, and it's very very tasty. But it's packed with protein and those amino acids we need. So when you're vegan, you also have to eat with intention. You can't just sit there and be vegan and just eat everything vegan, especially if you're in the gym trying to work out. You need that clean gas, I call it, that clean fuel in the tank. Don't just go, because there's a lot of heavy set vegans, and that's because they're eating mostly processed foods. Then you have the real thin vegans that don't eat enough carbs in their diet. And I don't want to say they don't do enough research because I don't know them, but from looking at them, they're not getting the right amount of nutrients to have that size on them. And that's why it's mandatory that you eat, frequently and with enough carbs, proteins, the healthy fats. All of that is needed for you to keep that weight up. Yep, it's hard work, but it's good work. To me, it's not like, oh God, I'm tired of this. Nope, because I feel amazing and I look okay. So, not to toot my own horn. So yeah, I look okay. Um, but yeah, with that being said, just eat intentional, ladies and gentlemen, and you will reach your goals. They say everything in moderation. I say pinpoint everything to the T. This is what I need daily. This is what I'm going to eat. And when you see those results, you're going to just continue to eat that way. So pay attention and focus on that diet. Let's talk about the longevity connection that is connected to being vegan. See, at 51 years old, it's not just training to look good for a summer. I don't have a wedding to go to, so I'm going to get jacked for the wedding and that's it. No one's graduating, so I can look good at the graduation. I don't have any class reunions. I'm not just training for one event. I'm training for longevity, meaning I want to be strong longer in life, later in life, rather. I don't want to break down at a certain age. I want to keep going at this high level. And when you pay attention to what you're eating, especially as a vegan, you feel that. You feel that longevity. And that's why I feel younger. I don't feel like I'm aging. I'm trying to stay strong for decades. I want to move well, recover well. I want to sleep well, think clearly, maintain my energy, protect my heart, my joints, and I want to protect my future. And for me personally, eating plant-based, it helped me stay aligned with my goals. Because this depends on discipline. There's food everywhere. I go out, people offer me all types of things. Oh no, I'm all set. And I don't even mention I'm vegan most of the time because then I got to go into a Q&A and they want to ask me all type of questions and and the first question is, "Well, where do you get your protein?" And I can't take that question no more. So I just say, "Oh no, I'm all set." And then when I have to reveal that I'm vegan, then here come the questions, which I'm cool. I love educating, but when someone asks me about the diet and then asks me, well, how do you do that? Oh, I couldn't do that. But well, listen. I didn't say you had to do this. You're asking me questions. I don't like when it turns into that because they put veganism against regular eating. We're not out here battling. This is just a personal choice for my lifestyle. And I love how I feel and I love how I'm growing. So I'm sticking to this. Stick to what you want to stick to. But I'm sticking to this. And there's research that shows that diets rich in fruits and vegetables and legumes and nuts and whole grains are associated with the lower risks of heart disease and high blood pressure. So eating this way, we're fighting off disease and the high blood pressure. We're doing that, and it's just by eating right. So we don't need medication. So this is a natural defense mechanism that can fight off certain health issues. So plant-based is the way for me. All of this stuff that I've read, I've learned, and I chose the right path. Plant-rich diets are often associated with lower inflammation markers and improved long-term health outcomes as well. So all this is pointing to longevity to me. I don't have to second guess anything. The goal isn't just lifespan, it's health span. Because, yep, you can live long, but how long can you live healthy? People they tend to break down after a few years. I don't know the exact number, but you see those older people, 70s, 80s, and it can happen more when we're older. So one thing I also want to touch on is how people think being vegan is expensive when veganism can actually save you some money. Now, yeah, if you buy fancy processed vegan products all day, it can be expensive. But basic whole foods, rice, beans, lentils, oats, potatoes, bananas, frozen vegetables, those are some of the cheapest foods in the grocery store. People survived on these foods for generations. All this other fancy food wasn't out. They survived off the basics, which was actually healthier for them. And when you're eating like this, discipline is also saving you money because now you're cooking your own food, you're meal prepping, you're avoiding that constant fast food run that you're doing every day without thinking about it because it's so easy and accessible. And financially, that also adds up, going out to eat all the time. So I don't know. I just found that this is a better way all around the board. Financially, mentally, physically, everything just lines up. So I advise you guys just to at least take a peek at it. Just don't be blind to it. It's crazy how you can gain discipline through nutrition. At the end of the day, being vegan, it helped me sharpen my discipline as well. I've always been structured and disciplined, but this is on another level. It forced me to be intentional. And being intentional, that requires awareness. You have to be aware. So you start reading labels, paying attention to different ingredients. You're thinking long term instead of that short term pleasure, if you know what I'm talking about. That short term satisfaction that's going to kill you later or add to your demise, rather than eating healthy now and thinking about the long term. And once your body starts feeling good consistently, you don't want to sabotage it anymore. So listen, food can either support your evolution or slowly work against it. And that's something we don't want. We want to be here as long as we can for our loved ones. And we want to be here as strong as we can be so we can function in those latter years. Very important. So I have a weekly challenge, my evolutionaries. This week's challenge, simple. Pay attention to how your food makes you feel. Not just when you're eating it either. After you eat it. Check your energy, your digestion, your focus, your mood, and your recovery. Start becoming more aware of what fuels your body and what drains it. And listen, this episode wasn't about perfection. It wasn't about forcing anybody to become vegan overnight. It was about awareness, longevity, discipline, energy, health, and most importantly, evolution. Find what makes your body feel alive and protect it. Stick to that. With that being said, fuel your body, focus your mind, evolve your life. And remember, nothing changes if you don't change it. This is the Evolved Energy Podcast. Peace and power.